Hello and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. It is Tuesday, my name is Kizzy and we're gonna do some reading. Random reading intro, but there you go. So I just had the most amazing revelation ever. If you remember a few weeks ago I unboxed the Fairy Loot and Brittany Ash's quartet box, whatever. But I just filmed my TBR video, which should be up already by the time you're watching this, and I was taking my thumbnail and I dropped them everywhere. I'll put a picture of like my face as it happened. It's inevitability. Whenever you're doing those pile things, they will drop at least once. And this came flying out of it, and I was like, I don't know which book it came out of. I was like, seeing if there was any more. I don't think there are. Don't know where it was. No idea. But this came flying out. Look at it. It's so cool. I am in love with this and I didn't even know it was there. Madness, but it's just absolutely made my day. But anyway, that's just a little interlude. So what I am reading at the moment is I've started reading in Becca's Bookopoly, which is another vlog that will be up already. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Cheeky little plug. But The Assassin's Apprentice is the first book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, which is the first book in the Land of the Elderlings or something like that, which has like 16 books in it, multiple trilogies and quartets I think in one series, or like one world. And I'm enjoying this. So I'm 100 pages in, and this follows a boy who is the bastard child of one of the princes, and the prince was in line for the throne, and then he didn't know that he had a child, I believe. I don't know actually, but if he did, he didn't pay any attention to him, and then so he lived with his mum and his granddad. He doesn't really remember anything about that, but then his granddad kind of gets fed up of having to pay for him because he doesn't think he should, and so he goes to the kind of palace place. It's not a palace, I think it's more like a castle. That's how I imagine it. And he decides, he just hands him over and he's like, this is not my problem anymore, you have to deal with him. So he doesn't even have a name, which is really sad, and he's kind of just passed around. He doesn't really have, like, he's kind of just left to people to look after him because no one really makes a plan for him. And his dad, he never meets his dad, so he ends up being looked after by his dad's kind of horseman, who looks after all his horses and the animals and that kind of thing. And then is just kind of left to himself. But then eventually, after quite a while, the king decides, actually, you know what, he could be quite useful as a bastard child. He is in this kind of middle ground where he's of royal blood, but he's not really recognised as royal blood, and so he would actually be quite useful as like an assassin person, spy person who's on their side, not recognised as them but loyal to them, so he can't be used against them, and also can then go to places where the princes and things can't actually go normally because it's too dangerous, and do assassin-y stuff. So he then begins training as an assassin, and it's like starts from right when he's a little boy. I think he's a little bit older now. I imagine he's like teenage age now. It's not explicit, like it doesn't say, oh, he is now on his 13th birthday, this is what happened, like that kind of thing. Like it's much more kind of story told. Like it does feel like someone's telling the story of this little boy's life, rather than you're in the narrative at that moment. I think it will feel like time has caught up with you because of the way it's presented, but I'm not sure. But I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. There was a sad moment already. Like I was just reading it like, oh, it was sad. So be warned about that. That was a sad time. In like the first like 20 pages or 25 pages. No, first 50 pages I would say. That was sad. Just thinking about it. But I'm really enjoying this and I'm looking forward to continuing on reading it. It is only like less than 400 pages long, so I definitely should finish this in this vlog. And then what am I planning on picking up next? I don't know what I'm going to pick up next actually. So I have the rest of the Bone season to continue on with, but I didn't really enjoy the second book, so I'm kind of hesitant to continue on with it. But I just like spent loads of money buying the books, so I kind of feel like I have to read them now. And then I also have the next book in the Stone and Sky, or the next book, Stone and Sky, which is of the third and final book in the 5th season. But I realised in my lack of organisation, I've just put this on my TBR for next month. So I don't have to wait till next month. That'll be very confusing though. I'll literally put a TBR up and then wrap up and this will be in it. So I made a boo-boo there. Yeah, this is why I don't make TBR so early on, but I had to because of the way the month went. But anyway, so we've got that option. I could start actually Rhythm of War, because there's no way I'm going to finish this before the end of the month, so that means it wouldn't be in the wrap up, even though it's on the TBR for next month. I would maybe do that. Shall I do that? I could do that. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to read after I finish this, so I'll keep you on your toes about that. And we'll just see how this reading vlog goes. I was actually thinking, I've been inspired by Rebecca Books, whose channel I will leave down below. I really like her channel. She's a really lovely person as well. And she did a reading vlog, but with like study inspiration in it, because at the moment I am writing 2 essays and my dissertation, which is due in, the 2 essays are due in 12th of April, and then my dissertation is due in mid-May. So obviously I'm working on those a lot, and I just thought I'd maybe add a bit of study stuff into this vlog, if that, like, it won't be overtly study if that's not something you're not interested in, but I just thought it'd be quite cool. Like, I do English literature for a degree, so it's not like it's gonna be talking about chemistry or something. It's still gonna be book related, but I feel like what I'm studying might be quite helpful if you're also studying English literature, or just interesting. I'm always interested to see how people do it. I feel like my way of studying or like writing essays is probably quite chaotic compared to other people. But I have got a desk now. I didn't have a desk until last night, and I was just doing it on my bed, like with everything like splayed out everywhere. And then I was watching like someone's background study thing, and they had everything like lined on their desk, like perpendicular and everything, and I was like, wow, I should probably get my desk out again. I'm gonna start studying now, so I'll like walk you through kind of what I'm doing and go from there. So I'll see you in a second. So ignore the kind of background. My room is in like half way through being like organised and sorted, and like furniture needs to be chucked out, books need to be chucked out, that kind of thing. So it's a bit of a mess because I'm halfway through doing it all, and I need a new bookcase, so all my books are all a bit of a mess too. But this is my desk setup at the moment. You can't really see my desk at the moment, but shall we move me down a little bit? I'll sit like this. So this is my desk setup. I have my computer here, which I'm now chucking about place, a notepad here that has notes on it. Normally I write things like a very basic kind of essay plan. For the essay I'm writing at the moment, it is inspired by the kind of research that's come out recently about looking at ancient texts and kind of relating it to PTSD. So the big one was when Shay looked at the kind of PTSD symptoms in Vietnamese soldiers, or the soldiers that fought in the Vietnam War, and related it, or looked back at Homer's Iliad and Odyssey and Achilles in particular, and kind of looked at it as him as someone who was suffering actually with PTSD and the trauma of war. So I am actually taking some research that someone's done about that, and they've kind of broken down PTSD into 4 kind of key stages, and I am then applying that to Hecuba by Euripides, and kind of showing how she also, even though she is a woman and not a soldier, has symptoms of PTSD and is someone who's suffering with that. She has gone through a lot of trauma. Obviously, like, this play begins when she is taken captive by the Trojans, so she's already seen like many of her sons be killed in the war. She's seen her son Hector be tormented in his death by Achilles because he murders him and then takes him, like attaches him to a chariot and then just runs around Troy with him, and again and again, because he wants to defile the body, but the gods won't let him do it, so it keeps rejuvenating, and he doesn't like that, so he keeps doing it. And then when Troy is obviously captured, her hometown is captured and ruined basically, and she witnesses her, in some mythology she witnesses it, I don't know necessarily if everyone agrees with that, but she sees her husband is brutally murdered by Achilles' son in the halls of Athena's temple. And then obviously when she becomes captive, this is when this begins. Her daughter Polyxena is then sacrificed at Achilles' tomb, so the murderer of her sons, the father of the murderer of her husband, she is then sacrificed, her daughter is sacrificed at his, to placate him in his death basically, and to give him honour. And then her last surviving son is found murdered by her trusted friend who she entrusted his life with, and sent to him with some money, and was like, can you please look after him, make sure he doesn't get killed. And then when the Greeks win, he kills him to take the money and pretend that he was on the Greek side all the time. And then to enact her revenge of this, she brutally kills his sons and blinds him. Yeah, so that's I'm looking at that and looking at the PTSD stages. So that's what I'm doing basically. I'm gonna start writing now. My goal is to write at least 500 words today, and then basically that's it. So I'm gonna do a little time lapse so you can see me faffing away, and then I'll get back to you probably more on reading in the next reading vlog and how Assassin's Apprentice is going. Hope you enjoy. Thursday, and I am over halfway now in the Assassin's Apprentice, so I thought I'd give a little update on how it is going, and I am enjoying it. It's quite a slow book, like the pacing is not very fast, I think, especially from going something like the Gilded Ones, which I read like just before this. That was literally, there was something happening every 5 seconds, whereas this, it's much more of a slow build up, and it definitely has more kind of a mystery plot to it. Like that's what pulls you through, is that we kind of don't know all these things about the magic system, about Fitz himself, about these characters, how they all work. Everyone seems to be hiding kind of something, and the need to know what that is what's kind of like the driving force throughout the book, which I am liking, especially the magic system. Like we hear snippets of it, like Fitz is someone who can think and connect with characters, like he can smell through them, he can think what their thoughts are, their emotions, their sense, that kind of thing, and it's apparently works vice versa. So like if he feels pain, the animal that he is connected to at that moment will also feel pain. So but that's seen at the moment by people as a really bad thing, like that's not the magic you want to have. And then the other magic, which is the one that's kind of allowed, but it is only taught to the most like elite people, like the kings and their sons, and it's called the skill, but we don't really know what it does, or well, you don't know for like most, like half of the book, but we've just found out, or I've just found out. That was a kind of a mystery, but it's not like, it's still not very clear how it kind of works, or how it's taught, or how you learn it, or why you learn it. I think some people just have like an affinity for it as well, and the teacher guy is not very nice. There's a lot of mystery things going on, mystery, unknown stuff that you want to find out and you want to know more about, which is what I quite enjoy. So yeah, that's a very small update, but that's what I was gonna say. I thought I'd get more reading done than I have, but I haven't. I think because it's quite a slow plot, you don't necessarily, I don't know, I don't find myself sitting down and reading massive chunks of it. I like little bits here and there, which means I don't tend to get as much done, but you know, I'm still enjoying the process, so that's fine. I think for the next book I'm going to start is going to be Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, so that will hopefully be started before the end of this vlog. I'm hoping to finish this today and tomorrow, so that'll be exciting, and then I will let you know how it goes. Yo. Boo. Hello, it is currently Saturday, so I just thought I would come on and... Ow, that really hurt. Oh, I think I just like split my lip. Ouch. This book is Assassinating Me. So this book, I finished it. I'm now struggling to speak. I finished the Assassin's Apprentice this morning. I was a little bit slower reading it. I think because the pace is quite like moderate. It's quite consistent, and it's quite, it does have its peaks and its moments, but it is a slow burner. Like even at the end, like it's kind of just like plodding along, and then like loads of stuff happens, but like in a really short like amount of time. Like I was getting to like 40 pages to the end and I was thinking there's not really been anything big and dramatic happening at the end, and then oh my gosh, it all just like happened, and it was just like, it was so good. I really enjoyed myself reading this book. So it's, as I said, like a slow burner, so it's slow kind of burning. It just kind of, the characters, like the connection you have to them is building slowly, the world building is building slowly, but all in a way that is such like good groundwork. Like it's not rushed, you don't feel like it's just skimming over things. Everything is there for a purpose, and everything is just kind of solidly being built up in a way that when you finish the book, even though this is only like 300 pages long, not 300, 390 pages long, so just under 400 pages, you feel like you've read such a like rich and kind of expansive book. It was just such a good, I'm really interested to see how it goes. And yeah, there's still so many unanswered questions, like how I was saying before, that it was like kind of a mystery book. Like a lot of the tension is brought in this book, not through high action fight scenes or anything like that, but through the mystery and the unknown and discovering what the unknown is. A lot of political kind of backstabbing and courtroom politics that's done in a way that I find really enjoyable, and just the politics in this world are shifty, and I just can't wait to see how they're gonna go. So this was a really good book. I can't decide on a rating yet. I think I might think on it for a couple of days and then post it on my Goodreads, so check out my Goodreads if you want to see what my thoughts were, or my wrap up, which will probably be the next video that's going up. But yeah, this was really good, so I'm excited to continue on with it. So I was going to order the next book straight away, but I don't think I am, because I have it in my head for some reason that I will buy this in a bookstore next month. So if you don't know, like the UK is still in lockdown. We are coming out hopefully in the first phase at the end of this week, I believe. Yeah, so hopefully Monday, so I think it's meant to be in 2 days, the first phase of lockdown is being released, so we can see, I think, up to 6 people in a garden or something like that. And then the next phase will be in the middle of April, the 12th of April, hopefully, if it all goes to plan. And bookshops and non-essential shops will be opening. So for some reason, I have it in my head that on the 12th of April, I'm going to Waterstones in York and I'm getting a book. And it will probably be the next book in this. I just have it in my head that it will be the next book in this series. So that is the dream. So I'm not going to order it. I'm going to wait until that day, and it'll be a glorious day. I can't wait for. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I do actually know what I'm going to read next, because it is quite like a dense read. Like it took me, I kind of judged the density of books on how quick it takes me actually physically to read it, because if it's something quite dense, then it's going to take me, it takes me longer to read it. And this took me longer to read it. Like I would say from my readathon, it kind of gauges like 30 pages an hour is quite an average pace for me. However, this took me longer than that to read per hour, so I was definitely a slow reader when it came to this. So I'm feeling like something a little bit lighter, and the next book that I have, or the only kind of YA fantasy book that I have that I really want to read at the moment, or that I have available to me, is the Ember in the Ashes reread, and I'm just really feeling in the mood to reread it as well, so I'm going to do that. I'm not going to read Rhythm of War, because someone commented on my April TBR really helpfully that I should read one of the short stories before reading that, because I'll understand it better. But in order to read that short story, I have to read Mistborn Era 2, which I haven't done yet, and those books are much shorter, so I think I will be able to, but they're also in York, so I have to wait a few weeks anyway until I read them. So Rhythm of War is on the pause at the moment, and my entire April TBR has been completely changed, so I wouldn't even bother watching that video, I'm not gonna lie. It's completely different, although these are on it, but I'm reading this now and not in April, but it's fine. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm going to read An Ember in the Ashes, and it's a reread, so I'm super excited. Hopefully rereads do tend to... Oh look, Robin Hobb and Brandon Sanderson. Oh look, see? My two currently favourite authors, Robin Hobb and Brandon Sanderson, have quoted on the back of this book, so I have faith that I will still love this book. I'm really worried that I'm not going to still love it, but I have faith. I have faith in Sabater here, that she's still going to be amazing. There's so much I've forgotten about this book that I feel like, even though it's a reread for me, I won't read it as slowly as I normally read rereads, because I normally just don't have the urgency to get through them as I do normally. Like, you know what's going to happen, so you don't have that kind of pulling you through. But I have faith, and I think it's going to be like nice, kind of light read. So I'm going to continue with that. I'll let you know how it's going tomorrow and wrap up the vlog. And I hope, yeah, I don't know what I was going to say, but there we go. So I am late to wrap this video up as always. It's currently Monday. I didn't end up filming anything yesterday, but I did read actually quite a bit of the Ember and the Ashes. I'm currently on page 182, so I am that far through. So this is definitely, I'm going through this faster than I expected to. I thought because I was rereading it, I knew what was going to happen at the end of the book, that I just wouldn't be that interested in it, but I am actually really loving it. It's still as good as I remember. It is definitely YA, although it has quite a lot of topic mentions that position, like I would place it like in the higher, like the elder side of YA, because it does talk about like sexual violence, the threat of sexual violence, beating and violence and that kind of thing. So warnings for any of that. It doesn't explicitly describe any of those, apart from the actual physical beatings, like the slave, when she is a slave, she does get whipped quite a few times. So it's definitely in the elder side of YA, but it does kind of read like a YA, like it is very fast paced. The writing is very easy, like it's not dense at all, but you still get that like element of world building in it as well. So I'm really enjoying it. I am glad to be back with these characters. I think it's Leia, one of the main characters is called Leia. She is annoying me a little bit more than she did last time. I don't know why, I just kind of, she has I think a lot of developing to go through, and at the beginning it's kind of like she's just a little bit like, you want her to have a little bit more kind of gumption than she has, although she has gone through a lot, so that's maybe really unfair for me to put that on her. Like she has witnessed some really horrific things in like the first two chapters maybe. Yeah, it's very fast. So I was right in saying that, was this, I don't know if this was in this vlog or my TBR video, but this has like trials to see who could be the new emperor, and I've just finished reading about the first trial, so that's kind of where that is pacing wise. I think there's another 2 trials to go and then the finale, but I'm really excited to continue reading with this, and I think I would recommend it. One of the reasons anyway. Hey boo. 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 Look at the camera. Boo. Let's just show them your bum. Ladylike as always. One of the reasons I wanted to reread this book was because I wanted to still be able to recommend it to people when they say, oh, like I want to read a YA fantasy, or want to get into fantasy, or just any kind of fantasy recommendations. But I didn't know if I could because I'd read it so long ago. I didn't know if my opinion has changed. YA has changed quite a little bit since then, I think, and fantasy as a genre, and I haven't liked a lot of fantasy that's YA recently, so I was hesitant to continue, like kind of, I don't know, I felt my recommendation was a bit dated at that point, but I'm loving it, so I think I am still going to be, one of my recommended when I make those kind of videos. I am enjoying being back, and I can't wait to read the next in the series, or the next 2 in the series, and finally get the finale, because I've been waiting for that for like 3 years. It's gonna be good. So yeah, that is the reading vlog. I hope it has been okay. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've made it this far, kudos to you. Let me know in the comments what you read this week, or what you're planning to read next week, or whether or not you've read this and enjoyed it or not enjoyed it. Whatever's up to you, you know, whatever. Thank you again for watching. I hope you've had a good time. I've already said that. If you could like the video, that would be incredible, and subscribe so you never miss another one, and I will see you in the next video very soon.